Crisis Core Reunion is an action RPG developed and published by Square Enix. It's available on all the things right now. I just finished this game up last week. I never played this. It's a remake of, or I should say, a remaster of a PS Vita? No, PSP game. PSP game. And as we've been talking about, it is a prequel to the Final Fantasy VII story. It talks about, let me be very careful. It talks about a character that is mentioned in Final Fantasy VII in very important critical scenes. It talks about the evolution of the main villain of the series, Sephiroth, and kind of shows his fall from grace. And it is a story that is quite convoluted. Like this is like very much like 90s anime wacky ass shit where characters are talking about goddesses and destinies, and for the most part the plot of Crisis Core is just convoluted as fuck. Not that great. But at the core of it, at the core of Crisis Core, is Zack Fair, who is just a fucking charming ass video game character, a hero who wants nothing more than to do the right thing and to protect people and show his honor. And it's his journey that culminates in a sequence of events that lead up to Final Fantasy VII. And it is at the end of this game, which I won't talk about spoilers or specific plot points, but it is a very hard-hitting roll into the Final Fantasy VII world. Tears were shed, which is not uncommon with me. I know, we talk about that all the time, but tears were shed. The game is, I think, like I said, I didn't play the original, but it is kind of reformulated to play more like the remake game. The action is pretty fluid. If you played Final Fantasy VII Remake, you're running around in a real-time battlefield. It's not active time based like Final Fantasy VII Classic. Run around actively on the battlefield. You push the buttons to attack or to cast magic. There is a materia system and a limit system, although the limit system acts completely differently than the other Final Fantasy VII games. And it's got like this constant roulette wheel in the top left corner of the screen. So as you are battling, as you are fighting enemies, this roulette wheel spins, and if it matches the three roulette slots with a character that you've met in the game, you can push a button to execute a limit break. As you meet more and more characters in this game who are both new to the Final Fantasy world and also pulled over from Final Fantasy, you've got Cloud in here, obviously you've got Sephiroth in here. Those characters populate, and then like if you get all Clouds, you get a special Cloud limit break that is like one of his attacks from Final Fantasy VII. You can do Omni Slash if you get all Sephiroth. So like there's nods to the Final Fantasy world. But the battle system is familiar, but it's got a different little twist with that roulette. Is
that completely passive, or is that do you actively engage with? Because again, I started it and I got 10 minutes in before I got told to shut the fuck up. Is that a passive that just happens, and then if you get lines up, you interact with it, or you engage with that?
You don't do anything in regards to activating the roulette wheel, but the roulette wheel is really interesting because it will randomize each battle. So if you get stuck on a boss battle and you're getting your ass kicked, you might be playing it over and over, and all of a sudden that roulette wheel will hit on something that causes you to buff your attack and your defense, and you're fucking unstoppable, and then you can go in and crush the boss. So it does a good job of kind of like mixing up what is ultimately not a very in-depth battle system, because again, this is an older game, and this game shows its age a lot. In ways that are both in the mechanics, like the combat system, and also in like the aesthetics. So it's got a new coat of paint on it. It looks beautiful, but like the animations are still really old. Like the characters walk like they're robots and stuff, and they kind of spin on their heels when they turn to look at characters. It's got this really weird old school charm to it, where it's like you can feel the age of it, but it looks visually current?
Does it play like a really, really pretty PSP game?
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So like there's some charm there, but also I think that kind of hurts the experience too, because there are certain points in the game where it feels how old it actually is at its core. There's a core narrative that goes through. This game is played in chapters, which is really interesting. You can kind of see how it was designed around mobile, where you play for like an hour and a half, and then you get to a chapter close point, which would be the perfect time to put down your handheld. You know, it's like a commute game or a lunch break kind of game, which is different than traditional role-playing games. You just keep going for 40 hours. This game is chopped up into sections, and then there are within these chapters optional side missions that you can do that you trigger from the save point. So you go to a save point and you can either save or you can activate side missions, and the side missions are used to get exclusive gear or materia that you can't get throughout the course of the main plot point. So you can kind of play it either straight through the story, or you can do all these side hijinks if you want to get really buffed up. Zack is the only playable character in this game, so it's not a party-based game like the other Final Fantasies, which is kind of interesting.
Ew.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of side character content going on throughout the game, but as far as like actually playing it, it's always just Zack. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's certainly something that I feel like I was missing out on in my Final Fantasy VII journey. I played Remake, and I'm going to replay Remake after playing Crisis Core, because there are, without spoiling it, there are more references to this character, to this Zack character in Remake that I didn't feel. I didn't get how resonant they were because I had only played the core Final Fantasy game. Now that I've played Crisis Core Reunion, I understand his character more and how his character affects Sephiroth's story and affects Cloud's story and affects Tifa's story. Like he weaves in there in a really meaningful way that they address in Remake that I wasn't picking up on the first time.
It took a long time for me to like these open world slash combat ones. Like I didn't like it in what's the Disney thing with the Keyblade?
Kingdom Hearts?
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it until Final Fantasy 15. It didn't click for me, and then I was like on board with it. And
this is clearly where they're going with this series. Yeah.
I'm
the new
still
Final
a turn-based guy.
16 is going to be, the same, around the battlefield you're moving and acting. Two quick questions about this. When they made this, it was a PSP spin-off. Did they do it as a cash grab, or does the story of Crisis Core really matter? Because I know you said that it does develop it, but is it really to the point where we're going to be telling people like Berto, you have to play Final Fantasy VII? Is that what this is, or is this a product of making more money off Final Fantasy's franchise? That was it was, and it is to this day a thing. Let's make another game.
I would say that there are two sections of this game that really make the overall experience better.
So you got to play 30 hours for those 10 minutes, just like
it's not a very long game. I think I finished this game in about 12 hours.
Oh, really? It's that short?
I think it's like 12 to 15 hours.
Did you do all the side stuff?
Nope. Didn't.
Okay, see, I'll be platinuming this, so it's going to take me significantly longer.
I did enough of it to be leveled up to be able to finish it, but I did not do all the side stuff.
Should I play this? Okay, so I am an unfortunate soul who is hoping to play Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Xbox, which isn't happening, guys, so let's all give up on that shit. I really wanted to wait, right, to do it. So now I'm upgrading my PC, and I'm going to be playing it on PC, but until that happens, I want the very best experience, because Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time. So should I play the Crisis Core remake, then play Final Fantasy VII Remake, since that's the chronological order? So
knowing what I know now,
it's not the chronological order, but it is the narratively pertinent order. I can't say any more than that.
Okay, you son of a bitch. What? Ah! Okay.
The answer is yes. And if you want the best experience, buy a PS5.
The events of Crisis Core happened 7 years before Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
See.
Yet but it's
But you want to play it after Final Fantasy VII because there are very.
That's what I just said. So play Final Fantasy VII Remake first.
No, play Final Fantasy VII original first.
What I did.
Yes. Okay.
Then Crisis Core,
okay.
then Remake.
So should I play Crisis Core? What's this called? Crisis
Reunion.
Should I play Reunion then Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Yes.
So of the remakes, start with Crisis Core Remake.
As long as you've played original Final Fantasy VII first.
God, you're such a dick, Adam. See, this is not right. This is not right because someone like me who isn't going to have a friend to tell them exactly what they should do. What if they just play whatever game, like
you can do that.
They'll be me, and they'll miss out, and it'll suck, and you'll wish you had friends like Adam and JB and Will to tell you not to be a fucking idiot.
So it's a good thing I missed out on Remake then. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I think.
Here's the thing. You can play any one of them in any order that you want. But if you want it to really hit the way it's supposed to hit, you have to play it in that specific order.
Then why didn't they do Crisis Core first?
I think
I think before remaster or before remake.
Seven's a bigger game. You gauge your audience with the game that has the most likely appeal to be adopted, and then you say, okay, Crisis Core, PSP spinoff. Not everybody had a PSP. Now that we've gauged everybody's interest in this remake kind of culture, we can go ahead and do Crisis Core. That's my guess.
I think the success of Remake made Reunion happen.
Made them correct, exactly.
There are story beats in Crisis Core Reunion that throughout the course of the game, they're important, they're big, and they matter. But those same story beats are revealed in a different way throughout the course of Final Fantasy VII that are made as big revelations in flashbacks. They're big flashback sequences that make you go, holy shit, what I thought about X character is completely wrong and completely different. And what the fuck is going on? Whereas if you're playing Reunion, that just unfolds throughout the course of this story, and it's not as big of an oh shit moment, if that makes any sense.
What a thing. Okay.
It is. It's Japanese RPG, baby. It's convoluted. It's wild, and a lot of the stuff in Reunion is kind of fluff and doesn't matter. But those two sequences that do are fucking unreal, and they're just like. I can't. Okay, I'll just say Nibelheim.
Reunion hasn't come out yet.
I'll just say Nibelheim. Berto knows what I'm talking about. Antonio, I'm going to assume you know what I'm talking about. Sephiroth, fire, shit burning down. You play through that sequence in more context in Reunion, and seeing it from that new perspective, this new character, and in a 3D environment, and from different perspectives and different character moments, I got chills watching this sequence again in 2022. Just being like, I can't believe I'm here in Nibelheim again, experiencing this moment, and it's still so big. I fucking loved it. It was great.
So everyone out there, you have to go back right now and play Final Fantasy VII PS1, Crisis Core PSP, then Crisis Core Reunion PS5, then Final Fantasy VII Remake PS5. Correct.
Can I tell you that Nibelheim I can only read and hear in what's-his-face's voice from God of War, the head, because it's got a very what's the head's name? Not the in God of War, the guy's head that's on Kratos' back. What is his fucking name?
What's head guy? I don't know. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Anyways, Nibelheim sounds like a realm in God of War. So
like Niflheim, yeah.
Yes, I every time I read it in his voice, I'm like, fuck.
All right.
The Final Fantasy VII universe just continues to get bigger and bigger. If you are an enthusiast on it, Reunion is a really nice addition to it.
Hey, what about the movies? Isn't there a movie?
Oh yeah, Advent Children.
Go watch it.
Is that any good?
Yeah, it's worth
watching.
It's fucking great. Is it really?
Yeah.
I gotta watch it. Okay.
Visually, it's great.
Where do I have to watch that? Do I have to watch that now before I play Crisis Core? Or can I watch that after?
Go watch it right now. Turn it on.
Just go watch it.
It's good.
We'll wait. We'll pause the podcast.
Yeah.
Hold on.